Hello, Mrs. Jenkins here. As you can see, I've got my Braywick Court sweatshirt on today as I've been in school this morning, so I thought I'd keep it on for the video. So today we're going to be doing some rocky road. So first things first, we need to wash our hands. I've already washed my hands, so I'm going to be doing one thing whilst you go off and wash your hands. I'm going to be breaking up some digestive biscuits, but I'll tell you all about those in a second. So you go off and wash your hands and come back. Okay? Okay, so while I'm breaking up these biscuits, I'm going to show you what ingredients you'll need to make rocky road. You will need 200 grams of digestive biscuits, 135 grams of butter, 200 grams of chocolate. Today I'm using 100 grams of milk chocolate and 100 grams of dark chocolate. That's just because I prefer to have half and half, but it's entirely up to you what 200 grams of chocolate you choose to use. 2 to 3 tablespoons of golden syrup and 100 grams of marshmallows. Okay, so I'm just finishing off breaking up the digestive biscuits. Now I put them into a plastic bag, just a plastic bag that I had. You can wrap them in some cling film or some baking paper, in a tea towel if you want to, or you can just break them up by hand. It's entirely up to you. But if you want to break them up in a bag, get a rolling pin and bash them out. And you kind of want a mixture of crumbs and a mixture of small pieces, probably I would say as big as a 5p pence. This is also quite good if you're feeling a bit cross and you can bash them out. Okay, so I think that's about it. So I've got some crumbs in there and I've got some small pieces of digestive biscuits as well. So we're just going to set that aside. Okay, so now you'll need a large saucepan. Now you will need a grown-up to help you with this because obviously you're using the hob. So you need to melt the chocolate and the butter and put the golden syrup in and mix them up. So we're going to start with the chocolate, and I've just broken the chocolate up into small pieces. And remember, I've got half milk chocolate and half dark chocolate, but it's entirely up to you. So we're going to pop that into the saucepan. And then I've got the butter, and that's 135 grams of butter, and you just pop that in. Okay, so we're going to melt that, and then we're going to add the golden syrup. So come and have a look, see what it looks like. Okay, so you want your saucepan on quite a low heat. Basically, you're just melting the butter and the sugar. So, as you can see from here, it's getting there, hasn't quite melted yet. So just keep it on the heat, and you'll need a wooden spoon. Just keep stirring it until it's all melted. It smells really yummy. Okay, so we're nearly there. We've just got a couple of lumps of butter left. Once that's all melted, then we can add the golden syrup. Now just be careful when you're stirring this, because if it was to come out of the pan, then it'd be very hot on your skin. So you do need a grown-up to help you with this part. Okay, I think we're there. So if I show you, everything in the saucepan has all melted. And it's a really shiny colour, so everything has melted in the pan. Okay, so now my surfaces are okay to put a warm pan down, but just check what you have at home. You may not be able to do that with yours. You might need a board or something underneath. Okay, so now we need 2 or 3 tablespoons of golden syrup. So 1, and 2, and I think I'm going to do a little bit more, just a little bit. Okay, I'll use the other spoon just to take all of it off, because it's really sticky. Okay, let's give that a mix. There we go. So now you're going to put the broken biscuits inside the chocolate along with the marshmallows. So we'll start with the biscuits first. So just pour them all in. Give those a mix. And if there are any in here, so there's a piece here, that's quite big. If there's any in here that still need breaking up, you can do that as you go along just with the spoon. So give that a good mix. And then we're going to put our marshmallows in. Now, I couldn't get mini marshmallows. Mini marshmallows are much better to use than big marshmallows. Otherwise, you have to chop them. So if you can, use mini marshmallows. They're really small, tiny ones. But if you can't get them, get the ones that I've used, which are the big ones, and you just have to cut them up. It's probably easier to use a pair of scissors, and then your hands don't get really sticky. So, but either way, whichever ones you have or whichever ones you can find. So pop those in. And you can see, look, stick to my hands. So it's much easier to cut them with a pair of scissors. And give those a mix. Okay, just want to make sure it's all mixed together. So the chocolate, the biscuit and the marshmallows. Now, if you wanted to, you could add some other things in here too. You could add chopped apricots, you could add raisins or nuts if you wanted to. Okay, so that's all combined together. So we've got the biscuit, the chocolate and the marshmallows. Now, this is a brownie tin. So this is 18 centimetres wide. So 18 centimetres that way and 18 centimetres that way. It's a square shape. So it's 18 centimetres on both sides. And you want to grease, so put some butter around the tin to make sure it's all really slippy so it lifts out really easily. So grease the tin and then put a piece of lined baking paper on the bottom of the tin. And what I always do, which makes it really helpful, roll up, fold up a piece of greaseproof paper like this. So you're making a line, just like a strip, and put that underneath. And that helps you at the end to lift it out. Okay, so that goes in the middle and that goes on top just like that. So when it's inside, you can just use these two, kind of like a handle really, just to lift it out. Okay, so we're going to put our mixture into the tin. And again, you might need a grown-up to help you with this. My saucepan's quite heavy, so you might need some help. So just put it all in. It smells really yummy. Make sure you get all of the bits in the bottom of the saucepan. Okay. And then just use the back of your spoon to push it out into the corners. That's it, all the way into the corners. And you might find you've got too much on this side, so you have to push it all out and flatten it down. I've got a big bump in the middle, so I'm just trying to share it all out equally. Okay, make sure it's all in the corners. There we go, and it's all nice and flat. Now I'm going to use the spoon I used earlier just to scrape off all of that lovely chocolate. There we go. Could even save those for licking later. Okay, so this now needs to chill in the fridge for at least 2 hours until it's hard on the top. And then we can cut it. and we'll come back to that and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's had 2 hours in the fridge to chill, and I've taken it out of the tin, cut it into squares, and it looks like that. Looks delicious. What would be even better is if you dusted the top with icing sugar, but I don't have any icing sugar because I used it all for baking at the weekend. So if you have some, dust it over the top before you cut it, and it would be even better. Let me know how I get on. Bye.